Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me again today. It is for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. Better known today, especially for market purposes, as Fed Day. So that will be the dominating theme for today. We are looking at our main risk indicator. Currently, the MMRI is sitting at 276.3. So as I'm doing this, it's quite early. I've got a couple of things I've got to take off, unfortunately. Um, so hopefully not too early for things going on. I've got up the relative strength of the dollar as well as the 10-year yield right now. So we're watching stocks did end up a bit. We've got mixed futures. So all of this can basically go out the window because this afternoon we are listening to Jerome Powell. The meeting started yesterday. It's always a 2-day. But when the markets move is really once he gets up to the podium and starts speaking at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. So, looking at the calendar, they are doing basically crude inventories, but it is going to be that press conference at 2:30 when Jerome Powell speaks. For Thursday, we've got some jobless numbers coming in, as well as PMI, so that will be looking forward. We've got our earnings today, and we've got a couple of stock things going on, but we've got Micron earnings after the close. So, kind of expecting that to do well with all of the artificial intelligence. They are in the tech side. So, moving forward with our banking and economy, everybody's looking at when the Federal Reserve will start cutting rates. So, that's the big hedge bet at the moment. He's kind of surprised markets before. So, whenever they come out with their decision, it will be all dependent on the language that he uses. It's basically neurolinguistic programming that he can kind of guide how the markets will go and the sentiment of how investors are after that. So, with a couple of stories with this, we've got Chipotle. They're offering a 50-to-1 stock split. So, this is going to be a big mover today, particularly if you're a day trader or if you do options trading. So, watch your levels on that one. That one's going to move. We've also got oil is under a bit of pressure. Now, there's a couple of stories going on with oil. We've got multi-month highs, so talking about the strong dollar denting demand. So it's not necessarily denting demand, but when the dollar is strong, prices tend to go down. So we've also got, and I don't have anything for this, but more tax spending by the United States administration. And this time it's going towards drilling for the Middle East. So they're kind of self-sustainable on that front. Not sure exactly why we've got tax dollars funding that. And we've got plenty of drilling and resources back in the United States. Anyway, I want to have a word on jobs because this really is what will guide when the cuts to the Federal Reserve starts doing them. So with jobs, when people start using less product or using less things, going out less, buying less, then the stores and companies sell less. If they're selling less, then they don't need to produce as much. They produce less. Producing less means they need less workers. When less workers have less money, they use less, buy less. So that's the doom loop that we're coming into. We are watching the jobless numbers uptick. So, just a couple of other stories that are adding to this. We've got Citigroup planning an Irish job cuts. They're cutting 168 roles in Dublin. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but it's kind of coming across the board. We've got the company Unilever is spinning off their Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream business. They're cutting 7,500 jobs, but the big thing is for cost savings. So those keywords we were talking about how the keywords would be efficiency, cost savings, basically looking out for that bottom line as more unemployment will be coming into the works. We've also got Fidelity. They're cutting 16% of China fund unit jobs. That's a huge amount. So this is a global issue. It is beginning to spread. So as I said before, prior to them making these moves, this is my major probably one of the key factors that I'm watching is the real unemployment rate. It's much higher than the 3.9% they're saying. Okay, we've got a couple of other things that have come out. This one rolled out rather quietly. It's BlackRock. Now they've begun asset tokenization. They've launched a digital liquidity fund. So this one is built on the basically the ERC20 Ethereum token. But the more important thing is how they're moving everything onto the system cryptocurrency so that they can tokenize everything, move and track everything. So a lot more to that. I'm also going to put links in the description below for some of these things. Okay, moving forward, we've got California is now charging an exit tax. So if you want to leave this state and you take your wealth with you, as they are driving people and businesses out of the state with their policies, they're now charging an exit tax. So you get taxed when you get it. You get taxed every year if you make money off of it. And now you're getting taxed if you try to leave with it. So moving over to the EU, they are agreeing to extend the trade benefits that they gave to Ukraine. And farmers are protesting this because it's basically killing demand for the local products. So in essence, by doing this with the price wars that are going on, it's the same thing as the jobless doom loop. At this production, the farmers cannot make a living. So going forward into war, which is basically what they're using to cover a lot of this, we've got Germany, who is barely making it right now. They're shutting down with a lot of their manufacturing and struggling. They're announcing 500 million euro military aid package for Ukraine. Then we've got France preparing to deploy troops to the Ukraine. Now, this is according to Russia's top spy, but it's also overheard by a top French general that they are basically ready for ground combat. So, and that would be the only place they would go other than possibly Africa. So going over to Africa, United States now has to weigh their options and where they're going to go because the junta has ordered them to leave. They've got a key counterterrorism base there. They've also got basically kind of covert drone bases there that have been operating for some time. So since their installation is getting ousted, basically, Africa is kind of pulling their own politics and putting their own people in place, which they have not done for quite some time. So just a couple of lava updates. There will be signs in the skies. So this one I thought was interesting because I told everybody yesterday I do plan on going to see this, but solar eclipse sparking warnings about sudden weather changes. So we know they can have an effect on these things. We'll be watching this going forward. More for the larger story. I'm not really concerned about going still, but it's the behind on that one is more than what I can talk about here. I'll leave it at that. So we've also got an explosive star event creating a once-in-a-lifetime sight in the sky. So they are talking about basically a supernova that it happens. There's more news on this. Just think something interesting if you're into astrology, astronomy, and then also, you know, they've got some astrology up here. But the full worm moon bringing first lunar eclipse of 2024 next week. I believe it's the evening of the 23rd or the 24th. This is coming out, so something more fun to look at. If you haven't yet, please like the video. If you do indeed like anything on it, I appreciate everybody being here. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.